everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Dark Art Society podcast. I'm your host, Chet Czar, and I can't speak. This is Betty. She's with me today. Before I say anything, please like, subscribe, share the video. Especially hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. I'm so bad at saying it, I thought I'm going to start saying in the very beginning. I've even got fans of the podcast telling me that I always forget to say it, so I'm trying to be better, so I'm doing it in the beginning. Anyway, today we've got a really great interview with Steve Cleff, who's a really good artist, painter, and just a great all-around dude. And he's coming on for a second time. I can't believe it's been 6 years or something, he said. I thought he was just on like a year ago or less. It's so weird. Time flies. But anyway, we had a really, really great conversation about all kinds of stuff, his new book project and his process. And and Devo. We talked about Devo, finally. I keep forgetting to talk about Devo. I haven't done the podcast for the last couple weeks because it's been total chaos. I had to get my taxes done, and my son had a baby, so that was intense, and it's just been so busy around here. So it's been wild. It's been wild. Let's see. Yeah, that's what's been going on in my life. Just it's been crazy. I always say it's crazy. This was crazier than that. It was way crazier than it normally is. But I feel like things are stabilizing now. So that's good. I guess that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to, make sales. I got some stuff up on the website, chetzar.com. My Big Cartel. What the fuck is it? chetzar.com/Big Cartel. Is that it? Oh my God. I can't even. Yeah, that's it. chetzar.com/chetzar. chetzar.bigcartel.com. That's how crazy everything is. My mind is all over the place. Okay. So anyway, let's get on with the interview. Let me get the Patreon and all this stuff. Oh, that's what I needed to do. Damn it. Now I got to look on here to do it. If you want to join the Patreon, our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Dark Art Society and join for as little as $1 a month. If you join at the $5 and above level, you get the 30% discount at the Skull Shop, which is our sponsor, SkullShopPPE.com. And amazing. Their skulls are already, I don't know how they sell them so cheap, and you get 30% off on top of that. So just for that reason alone is worth it. If you want to check out what I'm up to, you can go to patreon.com/chetzar and join also for as little as $1. Okay. We've got also YouTube memberships, and we have 5 members total now, which is so exciting to me. I just have to find this post. Let's see. Okay. There are 2 new members on our YouTube members. I really appreciate you both. All 5 of you. There's 5 of you supporting here. And, this, I don't want to cry poor, but this podcast does not make a lot of money. So it's like anybody that joins and gives anything it's always such a relief to me. So we've got Andy Spade 13 at Andy Spade 13 and at Hope Erickson 6857. Thank you both so much for supporting and becoming YouTube members. You get the podcast early. You get the video podcast early. So this is what I'm going to do, because when you set the podcast, the video podcast, to go early for members, then you can't do the premiere, and the premiere is really, I think, important for this community forming on YouTube. And so what I do is I post the podcast early. I give members access to it, and then like an hour before the show is going to go live, I change the settings to where it's going to premiere. So there's like an hour before where you can't watch it, but you can watch it like the whole day before. Anyway, that's beside the point. So that's it. Yeah, join our member or membership on YouTube or Patreon. That'd be great. Is there anything else? Skull Shop. Yeah, that's it. Remember to share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And here we go. Excellent interview with Steve Cleff. Talk about all kinds of good stuff. Hope you like it. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Chet.
How are you?
I'm good. It's been almost exactly 5 years since we did this.
I can't believe it, man. I was thinking, oh, I should have Steve back on again, but he was just on. It was like 5 years. I mean, were we doing video then?
No.
Oh, wow. So people get to see your lovely face.
Yeah.
This time.
I should have gotten a touch-up. I forget what they call it to make you not shiny. Should have gotten that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
But-
where's your makeup person?
I thought it'd be funny to act as if we hadn't spoken. Like, hey, man, so how was your pandemic?
Yeah. No, we've been speaking a lot. We speak all the time.
Yeah.
What's going? I mean, yeah, a lot has changed since we last spoke. I mean, I don't even remember what we talked about, but I know that things were a lot different. I can't remember. Nothing personal. I don't.
Yeah.
I record each podcast, and then I only listen to what I have to edit it, and then I never listen to it again. So I completely forget every episode, except for like key moments here or there for every episode.
Sure.
So I feel kind of like bad, but it's the only way I can do it. So it's not personal. I just don't remember what we talked about. You have such a good memory. You probably remember everything we talked about.
Because I'm me, I remember that I got the thing I remember the most is getting the quote about the arc of the universe being long but bending towards justice wrong.
I say I didn't even know. That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's haunted me for 5 long years.
Yeah, you're the only person who's thought about it. Nobody else gives a shit.
I know. And I have 2 awesome sons, and I try and teach them this stuff when they stress over mistakes. I'm like, no, everybody's self-absorbed. No one's paying attention to you.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's just hard to apply to myself.
Yeah, I know. Always.
So
what's new?
What's different? What's new? I mean, I think the book is the biggest thing. Although when I saw that it was October 2020 when we did this, I had the idea for the book like June of that year, but I don't think we talked about it at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was very far along.
Oh, cool. So yeah, talk about the book. I know you've been waiting to talk about it, kind of, and then you just started talking about it on your Patreon and just went for it.
Yeah, it probably won't be finished for another year.
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah,
I know how long books take.
You can empathize. And I saw what you went through, and I still wasn't frightened away from trying to make a book.
I know. Oh my God. Well, you can learn from my mistakes. You know, I'll tell you all the things I did wrong.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, but now I have your book. I'm looking. I got a copy for me and each of the boys, and it's pretty cool that it exists. You know, that's a good motivator.
It is.
So the book, I should probably explain.
Tell about the book.
Should I tell everyone who I am first?
Yeah.
What I do?
Well, I'll tell you.
Oh, right.
My perception of you. Steve and I are friends, but I'm also a big fan of his artwork. Also, I do this in the intro. So
yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say. I'll do this in the intro.
but he does these amazing watercolor paintings, and now mixing, other mediums, not just watercolor, but based on his synesthesia, which Steve has synesthesia. At least emotions are colors to you, and stuff. I mean, you see colors when you. I remember we talk on Zoom, and you'd be like, "Oh, I see your color is like purple today or something." Like
that sounds so freaky. So I have like normal kinds where I associate colors with numbers and letters, and then I have sound color where every sound I hear, including my voice and the AC in the background, I see color shapes in my head. And same with taste and smell, but then also emotions. So it's just the way my brain translates when I'm picking up with body language and facial expressions and things like that. And so, yeah, like there was, I remember I met somebody who had really intense anxiety, and it just looked like these pink blades were flying at me.
Whoa. So this is in your mind's eye, though. You're not like physically saying them.
Correct. So
it's like a sense.
Yeah. The example I use is if you think of like, the Marvel logo, right? I say that and you kind of have a picture in your head now. It looks like that.
All right.
It's not like in the way I see.
Right. Now, to me, when you say think of the Marvel logo, I think of a Mars bar. Because I've got my synesthesia, I've got the lamest synesthesia there is, which is gastrolexical or something, and it's like words have flavors, and it's so useless and lame and not romantic like yours is. It's like I see emotions. I'm like, your name tastes like a hot dog with mustard on it.
Mine tastes like Rice Krispies. I know that.
Yours does taste like Rice Krispies. Steve tastes like Rice Krispies.
Yep, but
so I understand how it is to have synesthesia. I just
like you don't really taste it, but you feel like
I have a sense of it, and it's like an automatic association. Like I can't help it. Like you'll come.
Yeah.
In 20 years, if I'm still alive, you'll be like, "What's my name?" And I'll be like, "Oh, it's Rice Krispies," because Steve tastes like Rice Krispies.
That's the only way they can test, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they would. So when we're like, there's tests online and things like that, and you have to. I would check which color I associate with which letter, and then they would ask many, many times, and then you'd come back a day or so later, and they would ask many, many times, and if it's 100% accurate, then you have synesthesia.
Yeah, right. So what age did you realize? Because I didn't realize mine until I think it was like 40 or in my 30s. I remember the moment I realized that I was working at Rick Baker's, and it just occurred to me that, all these names, it just occurred to me, it's like, for some reason, it occurred to me that Kathy always tastes like milk. Mitch always tastes like a mustard hot dog from Wiener Schnitzel. Right. And it was like, I just thought everybody was doing this, but for it finally occurred to me like, this is weird. And then at the time, I know it was early enough there where I started looking it up online, and there was hardly any info on it. Now there's tons of info on it.
Yeah, it's
so when did you realize?
Been like popularized. It was a similar thing. I thought everybody just associated colors with letters and numbers, and I thought everyone saw wild squiggles when they heard Jimi Hendrix, and so I was just thinking about it. It was my late 20s, and I hadn't talked to anybody about it, not even my wife, who I met when I was 22, and I was just thinking like, oh, I must have been taught the alphabet with these colors. Mm-hmm. And then I remembered when I was very young, they had pictures of the alphabet on the wall, and they were teaching you how to do handwriting, and it was like white handwriting on a fake black chalkboard, because I'm old and we had blackboards instead of whiteboards then. And then I realized, so I was like, wait, that's not where the colors are from. Where are the colors from? And so then I started Googling and saw that there's this thing called synesthesia, where people associated colors with numbers. And that's when I saw that the pictures and movies I see when I hear sounds were the same condition.
Wow. So how old do you think were you, roughly?
I remember where I was working, and I think I got that job. So I was like 27 or 28.
Okay.
So it was pretty late.
What a trip.
Well, then it was strange telling people who had known me for years, and like my parents, like I figured they would just think I was making it up. Like, why didn't you bring it up before? And that sounds made up.
Yeah. That's the thing about it. It's kind of hard to explain if you don't have it. I imagine it's like tripping or something. It's like it's hard to know what you're talking about until you've done it yourself, because it's such a weird experience. But because people will be like ask me about their name, and they're like, yeah, I could see that, and it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just an instant automatic. In the same way you say, what does cheese taste like? You have a sense of what cheese tastes like in your brain. It's like that, except you hear a name.
Orange, right? Orange.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just
yeah, but it's like it's that's the closest thing I can think to expressing the one I have. But and it's weird. I think isn't like a lot. Don't a lot of artists have synesthesia, or it's more common with artists or something?
It shows up a lot, right? So apparently, Vasily Kandinsky had synesthesia.
Who?
Kandinsky.
I don't know Kandinsky.
He's an expressionist. Like, he did geometric shapes. It looks like he's trying to paint what he sees when he hears music.
Oh, wow.
Like, once I knew, at first it took me a while to get into
like, this stuff
abstract
sucks.
work. Well, I was a figurative guy, right?
Yeah.
Right? And I just thought, well, this is just a jumble of shapes. What is this? It's not very. Why is this on the wall of the museum? And it's there for many reasons. But then when I saw it with synesthesia, I was like, oh, okay, I get. I see why he did that. I can understand the different instruments. But I just found out Billie Eilish and Beyonce and Olivia Rodrigo all have the same color sound synesthesia, and so
wow,
they make music. Yeah, I wished I was a visual artist from almost day one, and so I never spent the time learning instruments. It would be great if I knew how to make sounds that look like the colors that I wanted to see.
That would be weird. Yeah.
There are plenty of musicians who do that. There's one of the first people I learned about, like when I was in my 20s, talking to people about it. Somebody said they knew a DJ, and he would play a set and just stop it when he saw like squares and like a certain shape he was looking for. He would stop the set.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like your, I don't know, the main thrust behind your work is the I think, you got a lot of meanings and a lot of intention behind your work, but the basis is kind of this expression of the way you see emotions as colors, right? Because all your stuff is super colorful and.
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to paint either the emotions that I feel or wish I felt.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like programming myself.
So you can think of an emotion and it has a color?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's like a color-coded system in your mind. So when you think anger, a certain color comes up. When you think laughing or whatever, happiness. Yeah. So you can go, okay, I want this painting to be happy, and so I'm going to use yellow or whatever color it is. I don't know what color it is, but
yeah.
And then you'll kind of like use that as your color palette.
Correct.
Huh, that's interesting. Even though it's not necessary, there is no truth to it. It's all subjective. So it's kind of like but that's art in general. It's the artist's perspective of what happiness feels like, or whatever thing you're trying to express. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, it's different for everybody, right? Like,
yeah.
Different people will see. I haven't met anyone who sees colors when they feel emotions.
I haven't either.
I don't think. I just met somebody who they're a musician and they have the color sound synesthesia, and so when they're composing, they make colors, with the sounds. So but I can't remember if they had the emotions kind or not. But I know with the colors, and certainly with the when people associate colors with letters and numbers, is different for most people.
Yeah.
So I know there's no truth to it.
Yeah. There's no standard.
It would be so cool if there was some secret meaning to the universe, and only people with synesthesia could tap into it, and they would say, like, no, everyone knows that this color, this emotion is this color, and I can paint, I can make people feel with these colors, and it's not universal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I do. So there was a painting in, I'm laughing because of the strength of the emotion, but in the fall of 2016, there were some global events that made me pretty bummed out. And, you've interviewed many dark artists, right? They kind of paint how they feel. They paint like, I'm suffering. I'm going to paint that suffering, and it gives me a sense of control or catharsis or whatever. And I was just so low, I thought, I have to paint the opposite of this. I need to get out of this. So I did this painting, and it was hopeful, right? And it was about like vitality and serenity, and it was the opposite. And so when I knew how I wanted to feel, I knew what the color palette was, and I started using those colors. And it works. If I look at it, I feel better.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
I wish it worked for everybody, but so part of what I do is that I don't do abstracts with the colors. I do figures in certain situations that are also trying to communicate the feeling or the emotion that I'm trying to achieve. Because I did start off, I did start doing life drawing when I was 14, and I was just drawing all my friends. I started drawing when I was 3 and just started drawing people around me. And so I was fascinated by what emotions you could evoke with different body language and facial expressions and things like that. And so now I try and combine so that I cheat, right? So if you don't feel anything when you see my color, it's like, well, maybe they'll recognize the emotions in the figures.
Well, yeah, that's not. I know you're joking, but that's not cheating. That's that. But that's like. That's part of creating a piece of artwork is you're reinforcing the idea through different parts of it, the color, the composition, the subject matter. That's what we all do, I think. So when did you start? When did synesthesia start affecting your artwork? Was it always like that, or did you kind of like make a conscious effort to start utilizing that?
I kind of made a conscious effort. So this is fun, and I haven't really talked about this story. So a couple things happened that I had no control over. So the first thing that happened was when I was going into 11th grade, we had a summer homework assignment, and it was a weird English class. I was going into English, but the theme was art. So we studied artists, and we read books about artists. And so I had to read a book about Jackson Pollock over the summer. And I really liked the realistic figurative work of the Renaissance and just modern realism. And so I was very upset that I had to spend time with this splatter guy.
I know there's a whole book. There's a whole book about drizzling into different colors.
What am I going to, what's going to be in it? So then I learned that I got into Jackson Pollock. He became like one of my favorite artists. And I live,
oh, really? After reading that book?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I understood that the process and that he tried to enter the subconscious. And there's a quote, which I didn't read until years later, but it fits my experience when I paint, where he said, when I'm painting, I'm in my painting. Mm-hmm. And when I paint with the colors of the synesthesia that I experience, it's transportational. I feel like I'm in that feeling. Like it's really relaxing, and it makes me have more energy, and everything kind of fades away, and I'm just like in the colors. And so
interesting.
So I didn't, it would be many years before I tried, like I have kind of a splattery technique of my own, but I didn't try it for many years, but that was like stuck in my head, through that experience of learning about him doing that. And then I went to art school and was using regular people colors for my paintings. And then my wife and I were living in Hawaii, and there was this goth club there that our friends went to. Like it was like it was a regular club, but once a week it turned into the goth club, and like they do. And
Hawaiian Goth Club would be a good band name.
Yeah. Well, I do own AloHalloween.com. I haven't done anything with it, but someday I actually have some plans for what I want to do with that. But so the owner of the club he was a friend of a friend, and he asked me to do some artwork to project. He had all these slide projectors, and he was going to put them up on this. It was just at this warehouse, and he was going to put my paintings all over the warehouse. I'm like, this is amazing. I just got out of school. Like, I haven't done anything or shown anywhere. And so I do all these cool gothy black and white things, and he said, no, I want lots and lots of color.
All right.
And I was totally confused because I just didn't know how it worked with that scene to have all this color. And then I thought, well, I guess I could just paint what I see when I hear all this music. And so
wow.
And so that's how I got into it. Like, I was like, oh, that was pretty fun. Like,
wow, that's funny.
I mean, it was figurative, but it was just, one was violet and red. Like, I started learning all these color combinations that I still use today. But then I didn't really think about doing that all the time. I was painting normal, flesh tones and things like that. And then I don't know what happened. I was watching the X-Files, and for some reason it's like a shadowy show, but it was a very colorful show. And I was just like, I kind of want to paint the way that looks. And so I just grabbed a portrait and started painting with these colors. And the skin, I didn't do anything. I just left it white. And then I had colors in the background, and that was like, I was like, this feels good. And so then now I've got this whole process, but it took like many years to get into it and try it. I wish I was super cool and said, I feel this way. I'm going to paint this feeling, and this is what the feeling looks like. And I'm going to,
it's never that way.
No,
never. That's a misconception about artists, is that they are these geniuses that just have an idea fully formed and they just do it and that's their thing. It's like, no, it takes years and years and years of experimenting and weird circumstances, like years to where, someone spurs an idea and it just develops naturally. That's one of the cool parts about art is the way, and being an artist, is that it's just this kind of natural thing that develops if you are able to like read the clues and experiment and follow the thing, It's
part of what's enjoyable about being an artist, I think.
Yeah, it's makes it fun too, because it's like you're on a kind of an adventure, sort of.
Yeah.
Figuring.
Yeah, you're finding clues to figure out who you are.
Yeah. So I've seen your work from way back, and you're still developing that look too, and it's like these recent ones I was telling you. When you showed me these more newer pieces, that I felt like they're the best combination of your weird backgrounds and the figures like blending into the background, and I really like it. I think it's super cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited. So for the past 15 months or so, I've been doing oil on top of the watercolor.
Yeah. But you're also doing less fully rendered figures. So there's more of the background showing through, which is really, I think, cool and kind of ghostly. And
awesome. It was cool. So my wife saw the first one I did, and she said, "Oh, it looks like a ghost in a statue." And I was like, "That's exactly what I was." I mean,
perfect.
I didn't know that, but when she said that, I was like, "Oh, I did what I wanted to, and didn't know I wanted to do it. This is great." Right. Yeah, I was very happy when I heard that. That's
it. That's being an artist in a nutshell. I did what I wanted to, and I didn't know what I wanted.
Yeah, years ago, I was trying to explain to somebody. I said, I hope this holds up, and I hope I remember my own quote, but it was something like, being an artist is like trying to speak in a language you don't understand.
Right.
And you don't know what you're going to say until you said it.
Right. Yeah. That's a good one.
The oil thing, it was another thing where I did something, like I was kind of forced into doing something. So I did a movie poster for a documentary a few years ago, and the documentary was this author who they were very goth, coincidentally, and so I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to make this black and white, and I didn't know how to do it, and I just took a white charcoal pencil and I drew a portrait, and I sent it over to the director for approval, and he said, yeah, this works. And so I thought, great, how am I going to do this? Like, I don't know how this doesn't work with watercolor. And so I got some, I don't know how I had the idea. I think there was an old comic book artist named John Byrne who would do this special effect where he would just paint with shadows to make it look like there was a huge explosion of light. And so I thought if I flipped that, I could do this. So I painted with titanium white oils on top of a black primer panel.
Yeah.
And it worked out really well, which was great because I was on a deadline. And then I didn't do anything with it for 5 or so years. And then I got to know you and your process more, and I got to know Vanessa Lemon's process more, and you're both very interesting. And then Alejandro Diaz does this well too, where it's you try and intuit what's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that with watercolor. You have to plan with watercolor.
Yeah,
There's no real.
That's why I suck at watercolor, because I have tried it a few times, and it's like, it's a totally different process for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of spontaneity to it, but it's for the most part, if you want it to look a certain way, you have to plan it out, right? You have to do the colors in a certain order and certain shapes, and you have to leave certain spaces, and so it doesn't. And you can't just. You can shape oil. Like when I see you work in oil, or I've seen Bill Sienkiewicz work with, he works with house paint and acrylics and whatever, but I see you kind of sculpting and almost shaping what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And which is very, very appealing.
Yeah, watercolor's not at all like that.
You can't do that with watercolor. Like you can, you can go over it maybe twice and then it turns to mud color and you're done, right? So I wanted to do what you all were doing and get more intuitive. As you know this, the people listening don't know this, but I tend to overthink things, right? And I get, I plan a lot, and I was trying to connect to more of what art is and being an artist was, and be more intuitive and just not think so much. Mm-hmm. And so I just had this idea, like I could do the backgrounds, and then whatever I wanted aesthetically, right, with the emotion that I want, and then I could do the technique that I had come up with, the white figure on top.
Yeah.
And then I happened to be doing all these many paintings and interpretations of Aphrodite, who most people know as like a white marble statue, even though they were painted back in the day. We didn't know that. But there's an association there. And so, and then I'm trying to do like a spirit or a goddess. And so that's where the ghost statue thing came in. So it all really, tied together. I don't know where I came up, or I don't remember where I came up with the idea to let the background shine through. But I'm really having fun with that. I think
that was the missing piece. It's all a process and it's all valid, your whole artwork from the beginning. But to me, they're the strongest pieces. They just are like the culmination of everything you've been doing for however many years you've been painting. Because like I said, I know your older work.
Yeah.
And it's like I could see the progress, or just the changing and developing the style, and then finally landing on this thing that's like, okay, this is kind of the culmination of, that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's doing the things I wanted to do, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which is, an artist is, enjoy those times when that happens, because eternal quest to, it never looks exactly like the way it does in your head. And then as I'm trying to get more intuitive, I'm trying to make it feel the way it feels in my head.
Right.
And so often it kind of, you know this, right? The painting kind of tells you what it wants to be. Mm-hmm. You start painting, you have an idea of what it's going to look like. And then as you're working, you realize like, oh, this is going to work better if I do things differently than I initially thought. So they don't ever really look like they look in my head, but they feel like the way it feels in my head. So I'm okay with that at least.
Yeah, it's like you get this you get like an initial impulse to make something, and that's like the little starter fluid or something, and then you try and make it, and then the painting starts talking to you and telling you, no, I don't want to be about this. I want to be about this, and I want this and this. This is better if you do it this way, and then it doesn't really matter what you started out wanting to do. It matters what's the best end result going to be. And so, and you have to let your set your ego aside, kind of, to be like, you're the boss painting. I'm not the boss. I'm here to serve you. And that's how you get the best painting, I think.
I agree. Yeah. Two quick thoughts on that. One is thanks, because so for people who don't know, I've been doing your mentorship level Patreon for 7 years now.
Oh my God.
And
fuck.
And those are areas where you would kind of guide me, right? I would say, like, help me get this to be the way I wanted it to be, and you're like, well, maybe it wants to be something else, see what happens. And
right.
It's kind of like almost practicing Zen Buddhism, like letting go of your consciousness to see what is really there. Yeah. And the second thing I was going to say is that, like, when you experience that and you see the work and you see that you've made something better than you would if you had been in control the whole time.
Yeah.
That's when you open up to trying to chase that and trying to get to that more often, and just letting go, because like, I used to do this thing, I have to get back to it, but I'd wake up and I would draw a picture first thing every day. And I got to the point where I was doing it somewhat absent-mindedly. Mm-hmm. And the character of the line, I would do it with a brush pen. And the character of the line was more interesting when I wasn't paying attention. And there was more feeling in the figure. And I thought, oh, all right, this is where I need to go, where I'm kind of, inside the painting, right? Where I'm not really aware. I'm not forcing it or telling it what to do. It's just kind of doing its own thing. And, generally it's the shape or the subject that I want, but you kind of let go, and then it just gets better, right? And it's like you said, you got to let go of your ego, right?
Yeah. You got to stay out of the way.
You got to stay out of the way, right? And I remember when I was younger, I thought, like, but I want credit for this.
Yeah. But I want it to be this. But my idea was this.
Yeah, my idea is so great that
my idea is way better than, the infinite muse spiritual thing that's flowing through me. My idea is way better. I just, I'm sure maybe I didn't tell you. I don't know. Maybe I told you. But I read that. I did the audio book of that Rick Rubin. Did we talk about that?
Did tell me that, yeah. That's
the creative act or whatever. And it was like forever. I kept thinking, like, oh my God, I'm so sick of seeing this guy. And what does he know? He's just like a super rich guy who can afford to have these musings and, and like...
Seems self-indulgent, right?
Yeah. And I listened to it and I was like, holy shit, he was right about every single... And it's like, as someone who has lived as an artist professionally since, 1986 or whatever, it's like he's totally right on everything. Like, I completely everything he said, I was like totally right. There wasn't one thing I was looking for things to disagree with, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to like it. But it was like he nails everything. And one of the things I found so interesting is he was talking about different artists' ways of I forgot shit. But he was talking about different ways artists create, and one of the ways is to distract your mind while you are working, so that your I guess conscious mind is distracted by the TV or music or whatever. And that was the first time I ever heard anybody tell me that it was okay to have my TV on while I'm painting, because I always have movies, and it's just like, I always thought, oh, it's just because I was like a latchkey kid. I came home from school every day and was alone and turned the TV on and started drawing, and that might have something to do with it, but it feels like it really helps the process for me. Like, it occupies my thinking mind with bullshit. It's like the bullshit coming out of the TV, or even if it's not bullshit, a movie or something, it's kind of like this analytical part of my mind, or this, I don't know, part of my mind that's not involved in the painting goes over here on the TV and listens to the TV. And then I'm like just free. It opens me up to just paint more easily. And I always felt kind of guilty about that. until Rick Rubin told me it was okay.
Thanks, Rick Rubin.
Thanks, Rick.
I believe in the same thing. In fact, I will I'll listen to music and I'll have a podcast on while I paint. Now the music is usually the same colors, the way I interpret it, the same colors as my color scheme. But I also need the but it's helpful. Yeah, if I split my attention, I do better work, right? I don't overanalyze.
So weird. It seems like art would take all of your focus of your entire brain, but it kind of doesn't.
I mean, there's times when it does. When I'm doing when I'm doing a likeness, or I'm doing nostrils, which are impossible, so subtle.
When I'm doing a signature, when I'm signing my painting, that's the worst part, man. I fucking hate signatures.
I just sign the back now, so I don't. I
wish I started doing that, but
yeah.
I've started a tradition of signing the front.
Someone kind of scolded me one time. I signed the front and I had a painting. This is a lot of years ago when I was first showing. And they just said, "Oh, you signed a front, huh?" And I could just tell it was disapproval. And then I said, "Well, where else would you sign your painting?" And then 3 people were like, "On the back." You sign it on the back. I was like, "Oh, all right." So now I do that, right? And actually, I
had a friend who was like, he hated signing them on the front because he felt like it doesn't go with the painting. And I was like, I totally get that, but I'm from Frazetta land, where every Frazetta had a Frazetta signature, and that's part.
Too,
and that's why I modeled my signature after when I was a kid.
Okay.
And if you look at it, you could probably see some similarities, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
That becomes part of the image that makes it cool. And I know that that's true with people. I mean, potentially. To me, it's like, oh, that's cool. It's you recognize that it's a Frazetta. You see that it's a signature, but it's just part of. But that's the way I grew up looking at his work.
Yeah.
And I know that I've heard people talk about my paintings and that they comment like, "Oh, that's a really cool signature on that one."
It is a very cool signature.
But I mean, like I did a better job on, that's one of the things they look for in buying a painting is how well the signature is. So that's become part of what makes a cool painting of mine, So I get both sides of it, and I kind of wish I would have signed on the back because it would have saved me a lot of hassles because I hate doing my signature with a paintbrush. It's really easy with a pen, but...
Do you use a script brush or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still hard.
Yeah.
It's just like
you have a lot of curves.
I hold my breath and then I do it because it's just like too delicate.
Oh, man, yeah, I didn't think about. You could touch it up. I mean, it's oils.
I do. Sometimes I've got videos where I'm wiped it off 5 times to start it over, or I wiped a part of it and then fixed it. But it's like it's just a pain in the ass. And it's like at that point you're all done with everything and you're just like, I don't.
It's a different skill too, right? It's a different...
yeah, right.
So there's something to the way that your brain works, where when it's distracted, it kind of frees up. I had an amazing teacher in college. His name was Ed Leahy. He passed away a couple years ago, but I was taking intro to advertising because I was trying to hedge my bets and see what somewhat related skills could I take in case I need to get a 9-to-5. And so it was an intro to advertising class, and it was all about how your brain worked and how you came up with ideas.
Oh, that's cool.
And he started off the course by saying somehow he was able to demonstrate to us that most of the power in your mind, 90% of it is subconscious.
Right.
And 10% is conscious. So he said the trick of this class is I'm going to teach you how to access your subconscious so you can come up with ideas. And that was really helpful. I was maybe 19 or 20 or something. And so it was like you're still figuring out who you are and how you're going to be. And so I was glad that happened at that time. But it works the other way too when you're trying to use the analytical part of your brain and you're trying to figure something out, like solve some kind of money problem or something. You go for a walk or do your laundry because you pull away
take
and
a shower
actually
or
frees
whatever.
it up. Yeah, and then the shower is the magic place where all the ideas happen.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so there's definitely
Interesting.
I think that there's always science, but then there's always, I think, something a little more to it as well.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to experience these states of, they're just so foreign to what we know every day that you feel like there's something more to it, and maybe it's all just biology, but
Right.
but maybe there's more to it.
Yeah. The world is just not oriented in that direction at all whatsoever.
Well, it's not profitable, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to help anyone get
It would only make things better and everyone happier, but fuck that. There's profits to be made.
I mean, I know. So I did wind up spending some time in advertising, and then some time doing creative on-demand work, where you're doing website creation or software design. And we live in this industrial society where they don't understand that you need to distract yourself, you need to play.
Yeah.
It's
breaks.
Yeah, if you go to an agency, you'll see all the designers have all sorts of junk all over the walls, and there's pictures, and they're playing music, and the lights are all out, and they're looked at with confusion by the people who are selling or doing other jobs, and it's like, you want me to be creative on demand. Like, I need to access that creative space in my brain. I'm going to try and have to use my environment to get me there faster, because you probably just drove me crazy in a meeting, and now I have to create.
Yeah, it's true. It's a weird skill too, being creative on demand. It's definitely a skill you have to develop. Like, it's forced relaxation in a way. Like, you have to force yourself to not think about all the other shit in your life and relax, because it doesn't come from stress.
Right.
Making ideas and stuff doesn't really come from stress. It comes from like having a relaxed mindset.
Yeah, well, there's definite biology to that, right? The parts of your brain that are active when you're stressed are different parts of your brain that are active when you are able to be creative and do a good job at it. So, half the battle is trying to figure out how to manage stress.
Yeah.
Which isn't fun.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to make pictures.
Yeah, I know, when the whole world is trying to make you stressed. So I wanted to talk about the Aphrodite thing, but before that, since we're talking about advertising, this kind of takes us into, it's related to the Devo documentary. I know you watched the Devo documentary.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Because they talked about how Mark Mothersbaugh was talking about how, when they were coming up with the concept of de-evolution, they thought about advertising as a way to get the message, subversion through advertising, and because the advertisers were the ones who are actually forming public opinion. And I thought that was so clever and smart, especially back then, man. It's like, and then you look at all the stuff they were doing in early 70s when they were coming up with this whole concept. It's like, it's still so relevant now and so amazing. I can't tell people enough to watch this documentary, because I feel so vindicated, because I was fucking got berated for being a Devo fan when I was like in the 7th grade. I was into them before Whip It, because my brother turned me onto them. So I saw them in concert on 1979-80 New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before that album came out, and it was so amazing. I was like 12 years old, and I would wear my Devo shirt, and kids would fucking practice. I mean, I didn't get my ass kicked, but almost, just because I was wearing Devo shirts, and it was like, and then all of these bastards, Whip It came out, and all these fucking assholes became huge Devo fans after Whip It, and I was like, fuck you people. I was like, it was such a life lesson, that like, I don't know what the life lesson was, but I guess it was like, people are stupid assholes. Because it was like, all these people were just like, it just pissed me off to no end. It was very much like, now you guys all like it because there's a song you like, and you're giving me shit for a whole year because you'd never heard any of it. You stupid assholes.
Well,
And
I'm sure they went up to you and said, "Oh, Chet, you know what? We were wrong."
No, because it was like the popular kids like Devo,
Yeah.
and that wasn't associated with the popular kids. So it was like, it just hit the mainstream, and then it's like, I was so mad. I was so angry.
I can imagine. Yeah, well, a few different thoughts there. So one is, I actually did get punched one time for wearing an X-Men t-shirt.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Grew up in a fun high school. And now that thing's making like $3 billion.
I know, right? It's true.
Oh, I was going to say, so I think the lesson was trust yourself, right? You knew Devo was good despite the social sacrifice that you had to make. Right, you stuck with it. Like, there's people who just said, like, actually, I'm kidding. I'm wearing it.
Yeah, right. No, I was.
Please be my friend.
It was so good. Even then, I was like, this shit is so fucking good. I can't believe it. And it's like, I didn't even fully get the social satire. I knew that it was weird in a way.
That's pretty complex. Yeah.
Yeah, but I knew it was like connecting with me on some level to where like this is weird in a good way. And then it was like, as I got older, I started understanding what the satire was about, and how political it was. And I was like, oh man, this is even cooler than I ever thought. But I even wore a yellow suit. I bought a yellow suit because they were like the first band that you could mail order merch from.
That's in the documentary, right?
Yeah. And it was like a joke kind of, but they still sold it and it was hilarious. But they had dress as your favorite band day at my junior high school. And I wore a Devo yellow suit.
Wow.
And I just got endless fucking shit from everybody. I was like the only kid who liked Devo in the whole school.
But that's such like credibility now that you did it for yourself. You did it.
It's true. Yeah.
You can raise your head high.
That's true.
So I think one of the surprises for me was that it's pronounced Devo.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
weird, right?
Yeah. I've never been able to go with that because they used to call it Art Devo because it was like Art Nouveau
Art Nouveau. Okay, but yeah, it was incredible. So I have to confess, I never made fun of anybody, but I didn't like the weird stuff struck me as wrong when I was a kid. It just those crazy masks they wore of that like devolved human was just so it's
so creepy,
disturbing now. And I always hated those see-through plastic masks with the painted mouth and the painted eyeballs. So they wore those,
and
they wore those, right? So everything.
It was disturbing. You look at those old videos; they're super disturbing,
right?
Where they have the stockings over the nylons over their faces, and they got the plastic masks, and it's super creepy. That's one of the things I really like about them is they're so disturbing.
Yeah, it reminds me of Trent Reznor will, if it fits the song, he'll play a certain frequency that he knows that people will have a reaction to that disturbs them. It's like we're doing that with pop culture and visuals, and they're brilliant and they're geniuses, and it was interesting. Whenever I see something like that, I'm like, what can I take from this? How can I apply this to my work? And what was fascinating was just how clear the message was from the beginning to the end. But what was cool was that they evolved the way that they communicated the message, right? When they're talking about everybody hated our songs and they booed us off stage, but then we saw the Ramones playing fast, and so we tried it out, and the faster we played, the more people actually liked our music, and that
sounded better, they said too. The song sped up sounded better too.
Yeah, so like give them credit for experimenting, right? Like they were committed to their idea, but they kept trying their technique and their process in different ways to help them get to where they wound up. We'll say evolved again, and they were on a mission, right? It helped them to communicate this observation that they had that were actually things are getting worse in their eyes. I think
accurate observation. Humans were devolving. It was a joke, kind of, but it was a way of saying people are stupid and people are going down this kind of fascist direction.
Yeah, well, luckily everything's changed and it's all utopia now. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is such like an arrogant thing to say to like, if I were in Devo, like, they're historic figures and I am not, but I would say like, what's the next step? Like, great, you pointed out that everything is terrible, and now
Right.
what? And now
Yeah,
what do you do? And it's kind of what I'm trying to do with in my tiny little way, right?
Yeah, right.
No one's going to wear costumes from anything I do, or maybe, but I, don't assume. I don't assume it, right? But I'm trying to do that with this book and this project, right? So
Yeah. Talk about the Aphrodite situation.
Yeah. So
and how the hell that came about.
So that was interesting. Again,
a lot of weird synchronicities around that too.
Oh my goodness! So I was making a list, right? Not that I was preparing for the podcast, but I there's more than I remember, like some crazy synchronicities. A couple months before last I was on the podcast, I'm going to paint a little picture for people. It's the summer. It's 2020. We're in a pandemic. Pandemic triggers a recession. Everybody's stuck in their house, right? And they are learning how to deal with that. Lots of people are out of work. There was the George Floyd verdict and the reaction to that. Trump's running for re-election. And it's just overwhelming, right? Everybody's feeling awful,
Yeah.
right? I mean, some good things are happening, right? People are having art jams through a dark art society to try and support each other. But I'm thinking, I feel so ridiculous making art. I feel so self-indulgent I should be, I don't know, doing something to help fix this. And, for myself and my wife, we have two, at the time, young kids. We're trying to navigate through this. And I was just wondering, like, what's the point of making art? I don't understand it. And I'm talking with a friend of mine. Her name's Caitlin Foisey. She should probably be on the podcast sometime.
Yeah, I know.
She's super talented.
She's on
right
my
now.
list.
Oh, cool. Yeah, right now, most of her time is spent doing like a lot of amazing artwork for the Smashing Pumpkins. But so Caitlin and I are talking, and she mentioned something about two Aphrodites, and I had studied Greek mythology as a kid. Like, I was just interested in all the stories of heroes because I was looking for, heroes in it was crappy back then too, right? And I would read comic books and Greek mythology and watch movies, and I had never heard of two Aphrodites. And so I Google it, and there's a lot of story to that, but I'll keep it simple. One aspect of two Aphrodites was there was an Aphrodite morning star and an Aphrodite evening star, and it was because you can actually see Venus in the morning and at night, just because of the relationship physically of where it is to Earth and how the sun bounces off it. But I also saw that Plato had written in Plato's Symposium about different kinds of love, and he was trying to reconcile the fact that there was two Aphrodite origins. So 800 BCE, and I hope I remember who does who. Homer writes that Aphrodite is just like Zeus's daughter and this woman Dione, and they have this goddess named Aphrodite. And Hesiod writes this crazy story about the creation of the world, and ends up with Aphrodite emerging from the ocean. And I can tell the story, but I want to keep moving along. So Homer says, well, okay, I can fix this by saying there's essentially a good Aphrodite and a bad Aphrodite. And they represent different kinds of love. And there's like love you should pursue and love you should run away from. And the love you should run away from is the love between a man and a woman. And it's about physical love, and it's a distraction from greater, nobler achievements. And the other love is more noble. It's us guys here talking about philosophy and just thinking about stuff and trying to solve the problems of the universe. And I see this and I realize that I didn't realize how much at the time, but essentially he is marginalizing the role of women in society. And that upset me. And I thought, like, what can I do to kind of right this not right this wrong. That's like way too presumptuous and broad. But it's like, how can I just make people aware that that this thing was done intentionally, right? And when you look around the world today, you know, some people, if I say like women have been like kind of subordinated in society, some people would be like, yep, absolutely. And some people say, well, that's not true. They have all sorts of opportunities. But I would say, like, how many leaders, especially in America, do you know are women, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Clearly,
40%,
it's obvious.
40% of doctors are women. But there's studies that have been gone in the past 18 years that say that women actually are better doctors. Mm-hmm. And there's similar studies that say that they're better lawyers, right? And you just don't see a lot of leadership positions.
Yeah, it's obvious when you look at it. It's like you could just, you don't even need like, just anecdotally look around at people in power and business owners. It's usually a dude, almost always.
There's never been a woman president, you know? So
yeah, it's just like doesn't even bear discussion. It's so obvious.
So I'm thinking about all this, and it launches me into this research on Aphrodite, and what I see is that Aphrodite has actually been used to try and make women accept a role that's subordinate to men in society. Because I was not an Aphrodite fan, right? Of all the gods, I thought Apollo was cool because he had like 78 different powers, and I thought Artemis was awesome because she would just like go off in the woods, and she seemed, she hung out at night with the moon, and she seemed goth and, fun. And Aphrodite was like staring in the mirror all the time and just superficial, and she was on Valentine's cards and portrayed in movies as like kind of dumb.
Well, we also represented, just a regular person who doesn't know anything about, I didn't know anything about Greek mythology. They didn't teach us shit in school.
Yeah.
But, you associate Aphrodite and love, right? That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And, you look at the way women are undervalued in society, and you look at the way love is undervalued in society. And it's like these things are just kind of like, love, whatever.
So
it's like the most important thing there is.
The most important thing there is, right? The most transformative, inspiring, powerful thing that there is.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
And it's just, again, because in a way, people aren't going to get rich off of it, right? I mean, they do try and use sexual imagery to sell things, and there's a lot of songs about love, and there's a lot of movies about love. But
But that's being sold to people because everyone experiences romantic love and stuff in their lives,
So what I learned was that Aphrodite predates Greece by several thousand years.
Whoa.
And even has a connection to the first deities that humankind worshipped, which were all women.
Wow.
40,000 years ago.
Crazy.
And there were like predecessors to Aphrodite in different societies. So in Sumeria, which is like where you get the first written word, so we know more about them than societies before that, there was Ishtar, who's basically like Aphrodite's kind of descended the I don't know if you call it a character, right? As if it's a story, the character's origins kind of start with Ishtar, and then as people moved geographically, there's another goddess, Inanna, who is Aphrodite comes from, and then there's Astarte, and they kind of I can talk a lot of all the details how she preceded Greece, but they all had many powers, right? And they were goddesses of love, but they were also goddesses of war, and the common thread was passion, right? And so I'm learning this, and I'm like, I didn't know any of this, and so I see that there's like 23 different ways that 23 different societies worshipped this figure, whether it was Aphrodite herself or Venus or Ishtar or Inanna. And I see the common thread, which is it's whatever that particular society needed to survive, she was the goddess of. So she was like the center of a lot of societies. But I bring up the war thing because what the Greeks did is they just said, like, we're chopping this up. You're just the goddess of love. And in the Iliad, Zeus even, like, Aphrodite tries to fight in war, does embarrassingly badly. And Zeus has this speech. He's like, you are not for fighting. And for a few hundred years before that, she was the goddess of war, right? But they're saying basically like, no. The god of war is Ares. It's this guy. He fits the pattern of what a guy should be.
All right.
And so they're stripping away her powers, right? And as they're stripping away opportunities for women at the same time. Anyway, so again, I can talk about this stuff a lot.
Let me interject something real quick.
Yeah.
So basically, the gods are symbolic of the things, the priorities that the societies are, the things that are important to those societies. They're making gods up, or this. They're creating myths about things that matter to them, right? So you can kind of like judge where a society's at by the way its myths have developed and what is important to them throughout the years.
Yep. Yeah, so and what it is like, so there's a very practical function.
You can judge a society by its gods. How about that?
You can judge a society by its gods. And I thought about that in a second about our society, but there's a very practical reason they do this, right? It's like, think of, these are humans 40,000 years ago. They don't know how anything works, right? They can't write anything down. They can't predict anything. And they know that, my primary need is I need food. And so I need a way to communicate with something that's beyond me, that's more powerful than I am, to try and stay sane, to try and feel like I can influence my own survival in somehow. So when I need food, we all worship a goddess of fertility. And if we do the right things, then the food will come and we will survive.
Right.
In Greece, it was a lot about democracy. And even though I'm saying that they kind of depowered Aphrodite, in Athens in 400 BCE, Aphrodite was known as Aphrodite Pandemos. And she was the goddess of political harmony. So the way that like love manifested there was like, we need to get along because we've evolved to a point where we understand that war is not beneficial to us.
Right.
And so we're going to go to Aphrodite and say, hey, we're going to sit down and make a treaty with another, or we're going to squash a revolt, right? There was a revolt in Athens, and they talked to Aphrodite, and one of her powers was persuasion, right? Not force. And so it changes, throughout history, right? Even up until in 1939, there was a guy named Gleb Botkin who started the Church of Aphrodite in America.
Wow.
Yeah, and it lasted for like 30 years. And so I want to come back to Aphrodite Pandemos for a second. So I'm researching that there's these two different Aphrodites. It's summer of 2020. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and there was a typo, and somebody called her Aphrodite Pandemic. And I don't know if you remember, I texted you, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, what? So that was one of many synchronicities. But anyway, to kind of get to like, what am I up to? I'm making this book. I started making a series of paintings. I found 70 different Aphrodites in history with all sorts
I didn't know it was 70. That's crazy.
Every time I talk to you, it's like another 10 or 20.
I know.
I stopped looking after 50 and I kept finding more.
Wow.
So there's 70. Theoretically, I'll do 70 paintings. I'll make an oracle deck. The way I'm doing these paintings is through my interpretation of, if we had an Aphrodite, if we worshipped a goddess now, what would she be the goddess of? What's the thing that we need, right? And this is kind of a spoiler for the book, so I hope it doesn't take any fun out of reading the story. But as I'm seeing this, my first thought is like, well, wouldn't it be great instead of a respiratory disease, we had a infection of empathy, right? Wouldn't that, help solve some of our challenges? But as time goes on and things don't change, I realize like, you can't like have a superhero who's going to come and fix everything.
So wait a minute, the superhero part, just to make it clear that you're talking about a book where you're painting all these different Aphrodites.
Yep. But also there's a story.
The story is kind of like a superhero story.
Yeah,
right?
I was just saying that it's like kind of a metaphor, right? It's not really a superhero, but it's like, so Aphrodite's in the present,
Right.
And what would she do given the conditions of the world today, right? How
Okay.
would that work out? Mm-hmm. And the thing that I think we need right now is not some like forcing everybody to agree with us or even like political harmony as much as we need it. It's we need resilience in mental health so we can withstand everything that's going on, because I don't know that it's going away anytime soon. And so I think the stronger you are, the more you can handle it. You know, and some of where I got this was, you know, we're going through some things now that we went through, you know, a few years ago. And I said, this time I'm going to do it differently. And I'm going to be as tough mentally and as healthy physically as I can to handle all this stuff.
Right.
So that's the kind of thesis of what the Aphrodite would be. But yes, I'm doing so the book is going to be the paintings. The paintings will be released as an oracle deck. And then I'll write up like a little bit of the history of Aphrodite and all the different forms that she had throughout history, because it really is interesting. Like she just shows up everywhere, and there's so many different.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Yeah, I was. There's so many things. Like one day was thinking like, oh, there's a lot of themes of transformation here. I wonder if there's like some kind of butterfly attachment. Oh yes, there's a butterfly named after Aphrodite. You know, like there's so many things.
Yeah.
And then there's a graphic novel that I'm writing with my wife, which is what if Aphrodite showed up today.
Okay, so the book is different than the graphic novel, the art book.
I'm gonna squish them all in the same thing.
Okay.
You'll be able to get all the stuff, unless it's taking a long time, and so I might split.
So
them
it's
up.
going to be an art book that also has a graphic novel element and also like historical text.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm acting like I don't know this, but I'm just trying to make it clear for all the people in the audience, because I've been all along this journey hearing all about all this cool project. So, yeah, it's epic. It's an epic project. Yeah, and it's taken a lot of time.
Yeah, but it's endlessly entertaining and fascinating.
And it's a great subject, man. It's such a great subject to.
I'll tell you one of the synchronicities that, like, you know, there's a lot of things that happen that make me feel like it's time well spent. I did a piece for a show recently, and it was a portrait. And I am trying to make the wardrobe. So the way I work is I shoot with models for reference, and I assemble different wardrobe that's symbolic of things from Aphrodite's past and some of the mental health themes that I'm trying to include. But I saw this, all my Facebook ads and my Pinterest are all blown up because it's all this wardrobe stuff, and I saw this really interesting. It was like a hoodie, but it was made out of like fishnet with like rhinestones. Mm-hmm. And so I shot with that, and I painted the portrait, and the model's got this net hood on, and it's a certain angle and certain lighting. And I'm looking at it, I'm trying to figure out if this is the image that I want to use for the show. And then the next day I open up one of the books that I'm using for research for Aphrodite, and the first sculpted portrait of a human from 25,000 years ago looks identical to the reference photo that I put together.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That's crazy. That was a good one. You got to write them all down.
Yeah, I guess I'll put it in the book, right? There's.
Yeah, you should put it in the book, like in the introduction, maybe.
Yeah.
They have. A bunch. Yeah, there's like, you know, at one point I wrote all mine down, and it's like you can't even keep up. There's so many of them after a certain point, you know. But then you go back and you're like, that was insane. That was impossible. When you go back and look at them, it's like there's just no way that could have happened.
It feels like made up, right? Like
yeah,
you're experiencing it, and I remember when I think it was that one. So the statue is called the Venus of Brazenpoy, and it was either that one or another one. Like, it's happened so many times. I felt chills. Like, I mean, that one, yeah. I was researching at 2:30 in the morning my time, and I'm like, Chet will still be up. And I texted you. I was like, I have to share this with somebody. I wasn't going to wake up Trish. but yeah, there's so many. Like I made there's like 15 I have, like thinking about, I was putting the list together for the thing, and I won't, we don't have time to go over them, but there's plenty that are like that where I'm like, this doesn't, people are going to think I'm making this up.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing about synchronicities, is that they are like the proof that however you want to say it, magic is real, or there's something beyond this reality that we don't understand, or there's some kind of greater intelligence, or however you want to word it. When you have a synchronicity happen to you, it's just undeniable. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? Especially when it's like a number of synchronicities that just keep happening. It's just like, okay, the first one I could say was coincidence. The second one, okay, maybe that was coincidence too. The third one, the fifth one, the 10th one, come on. It's like there's a certain point where you just got to go, all right, something's going on here. At the very least, you could say there's something going on that's deeper than my understanding, and leave it at that if you're fine with that. But
yeah,
to me, it's like proof that this shit is all real, And
it never gets old. Like it happened last week. So in the mornings, I drive Trish into her job. And so we work on the story on those car rides.
Mm.
And we're talking about this event that's going to happen in the book. And then we were working on who like public figures that kind of reminded us of the way that we want to portray Aphrodite. And I say the name of this one actress, and Trish didn't recognize it. So she Googles her, and she's like, oh, famous from being in this movie. And the movie's name was the thing that we had just been talking about in the story.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I'm like driving. I'm like, what?
That's those kind of things are just undeniable. It's like, that's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. That's super cool though.
Yeah.
You got any other good ones? You could just, I love synchronicity stories.
This one's weird, right? People are going to think I'm strange, but that's okay.
That's okay.
When I had viral meningitis like about 15 years ago, and my brain stopped working. I was in the hospital, and I had to recover, and I had to relearn how to do a lot of different things. But one of the strange side effects was when I would lay down and close my eyes, I would see like this flip book of images in front of my mind's eye. And it went away. But sometimes when I'm really stressed, it'll come back. And a couple of years ago, I close my eyes and I'm getting the flip, and I'm like, at least I wish this was useful. Like maybe you could give me some painting ideas. And so I start seeing different Aphrodite images. And one was this figure with a crystal, like jewelry, like a rib cage. And you could see her heart like through the crystal jewelry. And I was like, wow, that's a really interesting image. And then I thought about how it's kind of like when you're trying to be kind, you're exposing yourself and you're vulnerable. And then like the next day on Pinterest, I see this crystal ribcage for sale for like $30.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I bought it and I shot it, and it's
that's crazy.
That's like this figure here.
Mm-hmm.
There's the crystal, and then I had a rose for the heart.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I mean,
undeniable.
Yeah.
It's not like you saw it online and then you saw it, or someone showed you a picture and then you saw it online even. It's like an image came to you in your head and then you saw it the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on now, people.
So here's a good one that kind of ties everything together real quick.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think. So these different Aphrodites have different names. Like I recently did a painting of Aphrodite of Mercy, one of the oldest Aphrodites, and her name's, in Greek is Aphrodite Eleamon. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And so I was thinking...
That's the one I kept misspelling when I was texting you?
That was Arya.
Okay.
That was the goddess of war. Yeah. So I was like, I need an Aphrodite something of mental health, right, for my Aphrodite. And the Aphrodite of... Like if I'm like, oh, what's the Greek words for mental health? But that's just like what they call mental health, right? So it's not like an interesting archaic name. It's just a Greek version of. So I was looking for something else, and I found that there was. I was looking for like old words of empathy, and there was a particular type of empathy where you feel other people's emotions so much that it's harmful to you. And it's called synesthesia.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, and so as people who are into this stuff, we kind of tend to think that synesthesia is sort of like a indicator that you're on the right track. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. That's kind of the way, that's the way I've viewed it. And, you know, since you started this project, you've been getting a lot more synchronicities. So I'd say, okay, that means you're on the right track if I was just to think about it logically. Now, there's another part of synchronicities that sometimes they're random.
Sure, yeah.
And they're just silly and they're not deep and they don't have to do with some great spiritual thing you're doing. They're like ridiculous and they're funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yes.
So that's the weird thing. It's like, it's not just that. It's also, it just happens sometimes randomly. For no
I mean,
reason.
I think I believe that there's more to this experience than we're aware of, but I can't help but I always, you know, explain everything away. And it's like, well, you know, this stuff is out there, right? I mean, historically, for many years, Aphrodite has been present. And when I read the archaeological or anthropological research papers, there's always every 10 years or so, somebody discovers this and they're like, this is amazing. There's so much to Aphrodite and she's so much more. And I'm going to make sure everybody knows, right? And obviously that didn't happen.
Right.
And maybe this will be the same. But, you know, maybe I'm just tuning into something that's already been there and I never knew it. And, you know, it's like you learn about the name of a car and then you see that car everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, Jung believed that it was more than just coincidence, right? He believed that he's the one who like kind of popularized the word of synchronicity, and he thought, like you're saying, it's like it just means you're on the right track. I don't care. Like I'm enjoying this, right? It's motivating me.
Yeah.
And I think it's a worthwhile project. And I think just like those people who were like, I don't know how to get more food, I need something greater than us. I think we need something right now to keep us from freaking out because there's just a lot of challenges in the world right now. And so I'll take it, right? I enjoy having my little relationship with Aphrodite and feeling like I'm doing something of good by kind of helping people understand that, you know, ultimately the way society is and the roles that men and women have wasn't organic, it was orchestrated.
Totally, yeah.
And if you understand that, maybe you can start to ask some questions about, well, why does it have to stay that way?
Yeah. Well, you know, I wrote this down. You talked about back, I think it was during the pandemic where you started saying, started feeling like, what is even the point of making art when... And I've been thinking about this, actually. I was almost going to do a whole episode on it, and maybe I still will, but probably not if we talk about it here. But, you know, one of the things that they're talking about that the difficulties people are going through right now during all this chaos and turmoil is this, like, crisis of a lack of meaning in people's lives. Like, there's no meaning. And that's why art is important, especially during these times. It's not so that you can make a political statement to sway people to your side, although it can be that, of course, but that's not the greater reason to do it. Because I've always said, you know, you should follow your artistic impulse, and that's the where you should go. That's the right place for you. It's not what your side of the political aisle says you should be doing or anything. It's like you've got this compass and that's it. So if you follow that, you're doing the right thing, no matter what's going on around you. And so I started thinking that, you know, art, that's kind of what art gives people, is like a sense of meaning in this. And so it's like, as things are more nihilistic and chaotic, art is even more important. Even if it's a picture of flowers, bowl of fruit, whatever, whatever your thing is, it's giving meaning. It's giving people meaning in their lives. So, and that is like one of the problems that people are going through right now, is this kind of like, this is all meaningless, this kind of like hopelessness. And so that's why art is important during these times, especially during these times where everything's all fucked up.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think it's important for people to understand that. And
yeah,
I think my doubts about creating art was the system working, right? They don't want you to make art.
Right. Yeah. But that's and that's specifically why you should, if that's even on that level, that's why you should do it.
Do it because someone tells you not to, right?
Because the assholes don't want you to.
They don't.
And it's like you don't want to abide by the assholes ever if you don't have to.
No, there's times where I do things because they're right, but there's times when I do things because I think they're going to piss off the people that, it's good that they get pissed off, right?
Right.
And when I say do things, it's like helping people who are marginalized, right? Like, I do that because they deserve the help, but sometimes I do it because it's like, I know this is going to infuriate people who are, against them.
Right.
So make art because it pisses off the right people. But I have a much different understanding now, right? I think that getting...
Oh, yeah, I wasn't suggesting that it was like you...
Oh, no.
I was just saying, because I think all of us felt that way. And I've always felt like, again, kind of guilty, like, am I just doing this fun thing that I enjoy doing, and it's like, while the world burns down and it doesn't really apply, but I don't think so, because I look at all the times that art has made me feel hope, at times where I was really in despair, and times where it's like you get that right song right at the right time, and you're just like, oh my God, someone else feels this way, and I'm not the only one, and that's what another really great thing about art is it makes you not feel alone. And so it's like, it's giving people meaning. It's giving people a sense of community and a sense of not being alone. Those are super important right now, especially right now.
Community is the way that you survive, right? When people are searching for power, they try and destroy the opposing community.
Right.
So we need that community now. And I think, the interesting thing about art is it's infinite, right? Everyone can look at it and feel something. Many people can look at one piece of art and feel something, and it is contagious in that way, right? Mm-hmm. It's the pandemic of empathy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And money's not like that. You were talking before about like modern mythology.
Mm-hmm.
So who are our mythological figures right now, right? What do they have in common?
Well,
they're billionaires, right?
Yeah, I guess so. For a lot of people.
You didn't watch Mountainhead yet, did you?
No.
I can't make the reference to the scene, but
no spoilers.
No spoilers.
Everyone has to miss out because I didn't watch the show.
That's all
and
right.
Steve's being considerate because he knows I can't stand spoilers.
But it's a thing that one person has, and if it goes to someone else, then it leaves that first person, right? Like if I loan you $20, I am down $20, but now you have $20.
Mm-hmm.
If you create art, you have it and someone else has it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? The physical painting, one person owns it, but
as far as seeing the painting,
yeah,
every people that see it, they're taking a piece of that.
Yeah.
With them.
Yeah. The feeling multiplies.
Yeah. Right.
And and it grows and it gives hope, whether it's music or movies or whatever, it helps people process things. It helps people go through things. It helps people,
Yeah.
Aspire to do the things that they witness.
There's a lot of different things that art does and why it's important. Yeah, I think it functions on many levels, but it just, the reason I brought this up is the thing that struck me is like, there's this, I forget who it was, someone talking about how just everything's so screwed up right now. And there was I forgot what it was. He named like 3 different things, and one was this crisis of meaning. I forgot what the other 2 were, but I was like, oh, that's what art's for, that crisis of meaning. And it's like, imagine being in this world now without any art. You want to talk about despair, man. Yep. No art, none of the music you love to listen to, none of the movies you like to watch, none of the comic books you like to read, none of it. Just imagine that's just like, that would make things unbearable,
Yeah. It reminds me of, there was a period of history about 20 years ago when everything kind of started sounding the same, and the music was the same, and the movies were the same, and it was stifling. It was crushing, right? It was just, it wasn't the stuff I liked, right?
Right, yeah.
It's interesting to see what comes out of this time artistically, but I think, do you think it's a coincidence that all the artists are having a tougher time now than they've had in years?
No. But I mean, that's partially because the economy is so bad, just on that level as well. It's less people are buying and less people have money to buy. And
well, but what's interesting is often in economies, art sales actually go up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not economies, in recessions, right? Art sales often go up. This time feels different.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know what's causing it, but it's it's just interesting to think about that while you're saying we need art more than ever. But I've heard artists, more established and successful artists struggling more now than they have in the past, except for original comic art. Apparently prices are going way up.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, that doesn't help me. I'd have to go back in time, have been a good comic artist and had original art to sell.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. Yeah, I did really fine under the Obama recession, but maybe we're not just in a recession. That's the problem. Maybe this is something else, which is scary to consider, but
yeah.
I definitely feel it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was looking down when I was talking to you, because I was fucking transferring. Someone ordered something for $100 and I had to transfer it into my bank so that my mortgage covers. I've just been sweating it out all day because I don't want to get overdrawn in case I don't want to. I've never been late on a mortgage payment.
Yeah, that's
it's
fucking, not one you want to do. Yeah,
it's like, it's just absurd levels of stress, or you just have to kind of throw your hands up and go, whatever.
Well, I think that's, why I think the mental health is the thing you need, right? Like, to be able to get through this. Oh, I should thank David Sherman, who I've met with weekly for the past 5 years and has really...
the official health care professional of the Dark Art Society.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely recommend...
Mental health care professional.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows shit about physical... He's no doctor. He's no like MD or whatever physician. He's no physician.
But yeah, it's
But he's great. He's a great guy.
But it's what you need, right? It's you need to be able to process. You can't make your life easier, but you can make dealing with difficult things easier.
Yeah. Definitely.
Man. I also should mention that so I'm publishing the paintings as I go, and I will be publishing when they're ready, like each
on your Patreon, right? On
the Patreon, yeah, which is mostly free, right? So I don't like talk about how art should be shared, but there's people who go to the paid tier will get print every 3 months, and there's benefits to that, right? You get stuff.
Yeah, I think most people do the Patreons to just support you too. I at least according to my
there's a number of supporters who like. I'm
That's
really
why
grateful.
I do it.
Yeah.
That's why I support all these Patreons. I never look at them. I'm just like supporting people I know, and it's like that's the main reason. I'm not looking to get something out of it.
I've reached out to let people who are on the paid tier, like, hey, what's your address for the prints? And they're like, no, I'm just.
Yeah. I don't want your crap.
Yeah, I don't like your art, Steve. I just. But when I get to the point where I've got finished pages, I'm going to publish them a page at a time on the Patreon, and that will be on the paid tier, but it's a ways off.
Yeah,
but you can see the paintings and the.
You got to go to Steve's Patreon. Say it. I'll put it in the description of the Patreon. But what's the address?
Thanks. It's patreon.com/Cleff. CLEFF.
CLEFF. Patreon.com. So if you have if you can afford it, I know things are tight. If you can afford it, if you have a Dark Art Society subscription to Patreon, you could just follow Steve for, I don't know. There's for free. You can do it for free if you don't have any money.
Yeah, the reason I did it mainly was just because I was so frustrated with social media and like putting stuff out there that I really cared about.
I know.
And just not people just not having any chance to see it, right? And so
every post, and it's like, just sorry to interrupt, but every post I've been thinking to social media, I have to use it to help promote my stuff, to make sales. But man, every time you do it, every time you get in an argument with someone across the political aisle, every time you talk about this horrible thing going on in the world, every time you post anything, you're making these billionaires richer.
Well, that's the thing that drove me crazy. Is I saw,
so friends with nightmare.
I'm friends with
people are just unhappy and arguing and making these guys richer. It's like, just get the fuck off the phone for a little bit.
I'm sure you know this. I bet everyone else knows this, but people post more when they're angry. Mm-hmm. And so anger
That's why it works so well.
It's good for business, right? People say inflammatory statements because they know someone can't let it slide.
Yeah.
And then they respond and they're like, that's wrong, or I have to defend that person.
And I feel it too when I look, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to post. I just saw one today. I was like, I'd never go on Facebook anymore. I saw a thing and I was like, I want to say something, but I'm not going to do it. And then it's like, okay, let it go.
I guess I have two superpowers, right? I have the synesthesia and I have the supernatural ability to not post on social media when I need to correct or
Good.
respond to something. Yeah, I mean, and it's weird because I go through this whole process of like, people are probably going to think I'm pro this or pro that because I'm not saying I'm anti that.
Right.
And then I'm also wondering, like, does anyone care what I don't have a radio show or a podcast in modern parlance. People don't need to know Steve Cleff's opinion on the latest thing. Like, no one's looking for it.
Yeah.
But you feel like guilted into like, I'm not saying enough to support this thing. I have channeled all that energy into, volunteer stuff because I found the more I posted, the less I did in real life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm quiet, it means I'm busy, like trying to change things. But I have so many friends who are artists and who are models and photographers who, in years past, relied on social media networks for all their sales, and one day would find out, my account that I grew. I posted every day. I followed all the changes in the algorithm. I went from pictures to slideshows to videos to whatever whatever you need me to do to help you defeat. If you're Instagram, to help you defeat TikTok or whatever. I've done all my part, and I've got 80,000 people followers or 200,000, and then one day it all disappears because you think that maybe I did something that violated your terms of service, and there's nothing I can do about it.
No explanation.
Now I have no way to make it live, and I'm like,
yeah, it's so wrong.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna work that hard to make somebody else money that they could take away.
Yeah,
whenever they want. And so I started a Patreon.
Yeah, that's what it's great for. It's like people used to go to websites and you'd put your stuff on your website or blogs.
Yep.
And now they are all on social media and they don't go to websites. So Patreon's kind of like a cross between your website and and social media.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it more social media, but I don't think enough people are really on there. But I mean, we don't need another social media network. We need people who want to go see their specific things. You go to Patreon or some service like that, right? You know? Yeah. Because
Facebook is almost unusable now. It's like a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio of ads or pages or people I do not follow to my actual friends.
Yeah.
Like I was going to post a video of it the other day. I'm scrolling and it's like, didn't ask for that, didn't ask for that, didn't ask for that. Oh, they got married. Didn't ask for that, didn't ask for that. And I do think that Patreon, to help it scale, it needs to kind of make it easier for you to create a network, right? So if you subscribe to like 10 or 11 different accounts, you can see that stuff and you get some recommendations and you have more reason to go. Like right now you go to Patreon because you want to see a person's thing, right? A specific person's thing. If it became something where like, oh, I go to Patreon because I like spending time on Patreon because there's no ads, because I had a subscription model and it's just the art just I like,
the stuff I like,
just the stuff I like. I mean, that's what people have been asking for years from the other social networks. Is like, I'll pay you if I can just see the stuff I like.
That's true.
Patreon could very much do that if they just start making suggestions and mixing things up.
Right.
I don't know if that's. I don't know anyone at Patreon. I don't know if that's a business model, but it would help me, right? Because the closest thing that they have is, you know this because you're on Patreon, is like they have recommendations. So like if you follow me, it's like, oh, Steve says you also might want to follow Chet.
Right.
And that helps you a little bit. So anyway, I don't have to solve Patreon's problems now, but it would help us.
Yeah.
To grow our audience. Really, right now you grow your audience outside of Patreon.
Right. Yeah.
And then you bring people there. So it'd be nice if it actually helped grow itself. But
right. Hopefully. They've got that chat feature and stuff where people are chatting in a live chat, which is like, it's just, you know, it's growing. It's getting there. I just feel like the regarding like feeling pressured to make statements about things.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, as soon as I get people telling me what I should say, I'm like, fuck you. I'm definitely not going to say anything now.
Yeah.
You know, and I just find that so obnoxious. That's just, to me, it's just so wrong. And I feel like the you know, there was a time when raising issues over social media was kind of like, you know, it probably did some good. And I feel like, and now it's not like that. It's just too much. And it now becomes the problem itself. It becomes another problem because it's just people arguing and making these people rich and showing up in your feed, and no one's minds are getting changed. And I feel like that's you know, my attitude before was, oh, I've got a platform, I'm going to say things I think are important, and it's just became to where everybody has a platform now to say what's important. And it's like the main things get out there because everyone's talking about them. They don't need an extra voice to make it bigger. It's like they kind of naturally happen just the way social media platforms are set up. And then it goes beyond that to where it's like, then people start countering it with these, whether it's bullshit or not. And then everyone's just fighting. It's causing more discord and disharmony. And it's just, and it's like everybody I know, and I'm sure you agree with this, agrees that that is probably the main problem with the world today is social media. I mean, that might be overstating it, but as far as like society getting along, it's never been more contentious, and that's the one link. That's the one thing, the main difference. It's not just the internet, which is part of the problem too, but it's social media.
I think it's definitely responsible for a lot of it doesn't help, right? And it's definitely responsible for a lot. I think there's a lot of things that are happening in the world to make things the way that they are.
But social media got those things happening too in a lot of ways, like as far as who gets elected and as far as who's running things. And
I'm not saying he wasn't a culprit. I'm saying I can think of other things that are happening outside of social media that have influenced the state of things. But
no, you're right. But I mean, it's a huge part. It's a huge one.
It's a failed experiment, right? I was so excited.
It's not a failed experiment. It's a totally successful experiment. These guys are fucking becoming the richest people ever to exist in all of reality. And so that's success to them.
Yeah, no, they're successful. But I mean, society, we all were naive when it came out, right? We thought, like, oh, this is going to connect everybody.
Great equalizer. Yep. Woohoo.
Everyone will have a platform, and people can share ideas, and people can expose to things that they weren't exposed to before. And now it's really about reinforcing things, right? It's not about introducing you to anything new. It's just trying to keep you thinking the same thing and talking to the people who agree with you. I mean, that's how the algorithm works, right? The more time you spend, the more you'll see of that same thing.
It's just fucked up. It's so fucked up. It pisses me off. And the thing is, okay, let's just say this. It is one of the major contributors to
I agree.
The discord in society today.
Yeah.
One of the big ones.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. It's one of the big ones. I can think of other things.
Yeah. No, I
get into it, but it's like
once I said it, I was like, it's a little overblown. But there's such a simple solution. It's easy. It's the easiest thing. Stay off social media platforms. Like, if you're on there all the time, be on there 90% less. You can still go on it. You could do, that's the answer. And then it would, if like everybody cut their, it's just like I remember back in the day when that Diet for New America came out, it was like a pro-vegetarian book. And they're talking about how bad beef was for the environment with all the cow farts and all the, land runoff and crap.
Yeah.
They were saying if everyone just cut their beef intake 10%, it would take care of this problem. Now it's like if social media, so many people are using, if everyone just stopped 10% of the social media use, you'd probably feel a difference in society at large.
So,
or do it all the way, or 90% or 50% or whatever.
I want to talk about what's next. So I'm just saying that so I can remember it. But yeah, absolutely. I remember it was probably 2017. I was feeling the effects physically, and I took a break from all social media, and I felt my sleep was better, my dreams were better, I was funner to be around, or more fun to be around. I was, and so I have 15-minute limits. Like there's, you can set the time limits in your app, and so for all the social media networks, I have 15-minute limits. Right?
That's good, yeah.
My son makes fun of me because it's like something that you would do to a kid, but my oldest son.
Hey, whatever it takes, man.
It makes a real difference. Here's the question, and then hopefully I'll remember to talk about what's next. But I have a small amount of followers on social media because I don't spend a lot of time investing in it for the reasons that I talked about and for my own personal health. But people still use that to judge. Like, I know when people discover my work at a gallery or on a podcast, they'll look and they'll say, like, oh, wow, Steve's only got like 1,400 followers on Instagram.
But weren't you, when you were trying, it wasn't working as well? It's like, I know a lot of artists that are just like, they're doing this and that, and it's just not catching on anyway.
Well, it is pointless. I mean, what you have to
do, because it's like, I've stuck at 124,000, which is amazing, but it's like, it's been years, like 5 or 6 years I've been stuck there.
Who are at like 86,000, and it's like shrinking.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to become a full-time content creator, right? You have to make videos now. You have to follow the algorithm for whatever they're interested in. It's very easy to see whatever they're interested in. If you want to know, look at what their competitor does, and they want to do that, but better, right? So Meta's scared of TikTok, and so that's why they turned everything into videos.
Yeah.
And so if you're fine making short form videos that fit a certain format. I mean, you know this, right? You did you buckled and you're like, hey, I have to make some money, so I'm going to put myself on screen and I'm going to, do a talking head because that's what works now.
Yeah.
If you want to do all that, you can do it, but generally you can't. And then, but it's just, I would like people to see my work.
I know.
And
I
would like to, I go back and forth, right? And so every now and then I'm like, oh, I did this painting. It's been on Patreon for a little while. I should promote it a little bit. Like, the most recent painting I did, I was very proud of it. So I put it out there, but it's like, what do you do? And so then it's like, it's what's next, right? You're saying people should get off of social media. So that never works to put the genie back in the bottle. It needs to be replaced with something else. I just don't know what that is, right?
Yeah.
There's something, could probably come up with some theories, but it's not like you undo something bad. It gets replaced with something better. And I just don't know what that is. I think
but
usually what happens before that is the bad thing craters somehow.
Right. Well, it's cratering now. I mean, it's working well for the people in charge, but nobody likes it. I don't know anybody who thinks, oh man, I remember when social media was like, this is so cool. This is so fun. I enjoy it. It's great. And I was excited about it when like in 2000 on MySpace. Yeah. And it was fun. And now it's like nobody likes it. I don't know one person that has anything good to say about it, but they're all kind of like addicted to it because it's so addictive. So I think from an addiction standpoint, it's a matter of just staying off or limiting your time on there or just giving it. I have found being conscious of that. Like there was one day I was like, oh man, I have to go do this thing I really don't want to do. And I almost literally said like, oh, let me just get a blast of dopamine. I'll fire open Instagram. Maybe I'll see some cool paintings or something and then I was like, whoa, that's like drug addict behavior. Like just go do the thing you want to do. You don't need to, that's take like a puff of a dopamine inhaler in the form of a social media visit. Like it's like it literally is. I mean, you saw that Social Dilemma documentary.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, it's well documented now. There's lots of studies that show that if you watch 240 videos on TikTok, you've become addicted.
Wow.
Once you cross that threshold, now you're addicted to TikTok.
It's crazy.
And I would imagine it works for just the format. So it works for Reels on Instagram and Reels on Facebook. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just go. As the kids say, you got to touch grass. I mean, that's why I go, and that's why I paint. Yeah, because it requires you to concentrate for a long time, and it's the opposite of social media.
That's what there are things that could take the place of it. As far as not putting the genie back in the bottle, it's like, you could replace I know a lot of people who tell me they're addicted to their social media and they have to delete their apps. Yep. Sometimes, and they say they feel addicted. It's like you can get off and play an instrument, right? Whatever you do, reading is amazing. Is so much fun. It's like I love reading. I never have time to do it. But if I didn't have painting, I'd fucking be reading. Man, there's so many books I want to read. There's many books. So many good, healthy things you can do. Going out and exercising. There's a million things to replace your social media addiction with. Because it's let me say real quick, the one thing that I see from so many people, especially arguing online, is that you can tell they're just, because I've been there, I was like that for a while. I totally was like that, to where you have a reaction, you can't help yourself, and you get in this big argument, blah, 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 and it's like you're just sucked in, and you're not aware of what's really going on at all. You're in there, and then when you're in there, you're not here. You're not physically in your body. Really, you're not in your life. You're in this, like the phones are like these portals, and especially social media is, it's like you're existing in this place that doesn't exist. You're spending all your time there. It's making you angry. It's making you stressed out. And you have this beautiful life all around you in reality. And it's like we're choosing to go in this stupid fucking lane. Yeah. And social media isn't even that good anyway. It's not that fucking great. It's like, come on. I mean, there's some funny videos and stuff on there, but it's not better than reality. Reality is amazing. Reality's got everything, including the social media stuff. It's like there's everything here that we need. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. So I want to go back over a couple things real quick. So one is that when you talk about doing creative work instead, physiologically, if you do something creative for 40 minutes, your brain and your body releases chemicals that make you feel better about yourself.
Oh, wow. I believe it.
So if you're depressed, have you ever been down and you're like, I don't really feel like painting, or I don't really feel like doing the things that make me happy? Like your brain suppresses the areas that would desire that activity that makes you feel better. It's like the depression is like this parasite trying to prolong its existence, and so it neutralizes the threats in the form of like, hey, if I go for a walk, after a while, like I'll feel better just because of what happens to my body. And and it works every time. Like I thank them at the point where if I feel bad now, it's like, all right, it's time for a run, and this is stupid, it's not going to work. And then I'm like, oh, I'm glad I did that. It feels better.
Yeah.
But doing something creative specifically, whether you're writing or making music or you're painting or making a video or whatever, you do it for 40 minutes and you'll feel better, right? It doesn't take that long. But you talk about social media being bad now. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's like
so bad. Everybody knows it too.
It's like rock in the 80s, right? Before grunge happened, right? It's just, or like, network TV before prestige television happened. Like, it's awful. And it exists. People they're not being creative, right? It kills me that they call themselves creators.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing, they're algorithmics or something, right? They're just making the things that they know are going to be popular. And then every now and then something breaks. Yeah. And then everybody chases and imitates that.
Yeah.
There's no creativity there, right? It's just imitation.
There's there's always outliers that do great stuff on the platforms, but I would say most of them are, like you said, chasing the algorithm. That's not where your artistic heart is at. It's not aligned with chasing the algorithm. You're just doing that to, it's just no. So I noticed when I first started cutting back on social media, I would say like, all right, I'm going to be mindful of my energy right now. And then I'm going to go to one of these stupid apps and I'm going to see what my energy is like afterwards. And it's always worse off, right? It's either the energy's lower or I'm pissed off. I think people know this too. I think, like I said, everybody hates it. Everyone I know complains about it. I don't, like I said, I haven't talked to anybody in recent memory that thinks it's good, except, maybe the kids, but they're kids. But the problem with a lot of people is they're addicted to it and they feel like they can't get off of it.
Well, and they don't have a replacement, right? Like, I think a lot of people are like, well, what do I do now, right? Like, there's
so much to do. You could do anything.
I know, but it's like this external force, right? It'd be nice if there were external forces that were leading them to do these other creative things. And I guess that's, where art and television and music can maybe come in, right? I don't know. It's a dilemma.
Yeah.
You just got to really be mindful, right? You got to think about, like, why am I doing this? What is my intent here? And people don't, sometimes you're just exhausted. You can't really think about it. You're just like, you do it out of habit. You do it because you're burned out. There's this thing called decision fatigue, where the more difficult decisions you make throughout the day, the more you build up this certain, I think it's a protein. I hope, a neurologist isn't laughing at me right now, but it means you can't really use the front of your brain where the critical thinking is. And you can use like the parts that respond to visual stimulus. And that's why you just want to watch TV at the end of the day, right? Because that's all your brain can do. Like the only way to get rid of, I forget if it's an amino acid or a protein, is you go to sleep and then your brain kind of like rinses it out, right? And so you burn out because the world is crazy or whatever. And then you just like swipe through videos and pictures and you're like, this feels relaxing, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, it when you're not arguing, it's, obviously there's some good things or people just wouldn't do it at all, but they're getting some pleasure out of it. That's why I think it's more about not just quitting everything. It's more about moderating, giving yourself limits, setting limits on the kind of content you look at, and how often you're on these platforms.
I have friends who I will lose if I don't go on these apps, right?
Yeah, I know.
And I've tried to say, like, hey, I've got a Patreon, like, let's talk that way. Do you want to text? And it's built in. They're like, I could go to this one place where everybody is, or I can make a special event of stay in touch with Steve. Who, Steve's fine. I like Steve.
Well, I guess you find out who your friends really are then, and whether they join your Patreon or not.
Well, or they text or whatever.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a group of people who who I only know online, right? A lot of really good things came from it. Like I made a lot of friends in Los Angeles, and I've only been there like 3 times, right?
Yeah.
I made a lot of friends around the world, right? The whole art jam came from social media.
Oh yeah. There's definitely, there are good aspects to it. It's more like you have to use it and have it not use you. Yeah. And that means staying mindful of what's happening when you're using it, and not going into places that you don't want to be going, and catching yourself, stay away from politics. That's the number one thing.
It doesn't do anything. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to make a pitch for the Dark Art Society Discord, because I have been finding I'm spending more time on Slack communities and Discord communities. Because people are happier there. It's like, these are just the people I want to talk to.
Yeah, we've got that Discord. I don't think anyone really.
I'll try. You know how I do the weekly share your art? I started doing it on the Discord, and then like 3 weeks later, one person was like, "Hey, I have a piece of artwork. Here it is." So
I'll also continue. I'll start pushing. I really have been bad about letting people know it even exists. We
got to lead by example, Chet. You and I will be there, and then hopefully people will join.
Yeah.
And then it's free of the ads, it's free of the politics, it's free of all the stuff, unless somebody wants to make a politics channel within the Discord, which it's
probably not a good idea.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. What if they all agree with me though in my politics? Then they can talk as much as they want.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. We should probably end it because it's almost at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Did you have any final words?
Any final words?
Any final things you wanted to promote or talk about? Oh,
yes. Yeah. Thanks for saying that. There's a movie that's going to come out. I don't know when. It finished shooting a few weeks ago. It's called The Vanishing Tour.
Vanishing Tour?
Tour, yes. It's about a band that is on tour. And my friend Patrick Meany directed it. He directed The Nick of, which is really cool. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a romantic comedy, but he's done horror, and he did documentaries before that. And I am going to do the movie poster for that. But I also designed the merch for the band in the movie, and so they're walking around wearing some stuff that I made, which is fun for me. But I mention it just because it's an independent film. I don't know that it's going to get a lot of publicity. There's a couple of people in it, Mina Tobias and Auden Wiley, who you may or may not have heard of, but I think you will in the future. I think they're just at kind of the beginnings of their careers, and I think they're going to get more work. And I haven't seen it, but Patrick said they did good work in there. Cool. So I wanted to promote that because it's a lot of good people. There's also Brandon Wayne, who is the guy in the suit in The Mandalorian.
Oh.
Pedro Pascal does the voiceover, but Brandon's in the suit. And Amber Benson from Buffy's in there too. So I read the script when I was doing it. It looked like a fun movie. And then there's more to Aphrodite than meets the eye. I don't know. Those are the things that I can say. If you want to join my Patreon, I'd be thrilled to have you. And
you can join for free. To get your foot wet.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff in there, and Patreon's pretty cool. They have free trials now. Yeah, and they have discounts if you do year long.
And they have gift memberships, so you can ask for a yearly membership from your significant other or something if you want to.
And I'm pretty open. I'm happy to show whatever people want to see. Right now, it's there's time lapses of the work. I do the work in progress. I'm going to start publishing portions of the book as they're completed. So I try and make it valuable because I know I'm competing with social media.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. It was great to talk to you. I can't believe it's been 6 years or 5 years or whatever.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Next time, I'll either have the book done or we didn't even get into writing, which I wanted to talk about.
I know, right?
Yeah. So maybe we talk about that next time.
Definitely. Write down everything we talked about and what we didn't talk about, and that'll be for the next one.
All right,
we'll
cool.
definitely have you back on again. All right. So last thing is you got to just say goodbye to the audience.
Audience, take care of each other, and thanks for listening.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to us.